Hello my dear friends and welcome to Zenith Academy Online. My name is Shagufta Jaipuri and we are on part 9 of the chapter Chemical Calculations for GCSE Year 11 A-level students, and in this module we will be talking about volumes of gases. So now in this module we learn what is molar volume, what do you mean by molar volume, and how to calculate the volume of a gas at room temperature and pressure from its mass and relative formula mass. Then we'll learn how to find out reacting gas volume ratios. Okay, volume ratios of reactants or products using Avogadro's law and Gay-Lussac's law. So we'll study about these two laws and how these two laws will help us to find the volume ratios of reactants or products. Hence, with this knowledge, we'll be able to calculate volumes of gaseous reactants and products from a balanced equation. Okay. So now let's go ahead. So first is molar volume of gas. So 1 mole of any gas has a volume of 24 decimeter cube, or we can say 24 liters. And if we want to talk in terms of centimeter cube, then it is 24,000 centimeter cube, or we can say 24,000 milliliter. So 1 mole of any gas has the volume of 24 liter at RTP. RTP is normal room temperature and pressure, or we can say STP, which is standard room temperature and pressure. So what is standard room temperature? It is 25 degrees Celsius or 298 Kelvin, and the normal pressure or the standard pressure is 1 atmospheric pressure, which is 101 kilopascal. So 1 mole of a gas contains what volume? It contains 24 decimeter cube. Okay. Now this volume is called molar volume of a gas. So when we say what is the volume of 1 mole, it is molar volume. So the volume of 1 mole is molar volume, and which is 24 decimeter cube. Now this holds true for all the gases. If I say what is the molar volume of nitrogen gas, then too it is 24 decimeter cube. If I say what is the molar volume of carbon monoxide gas, then too it is 24 decimeter cube. So this value is constant for 1 mole. And now students, in our earlier videos of chemical calculations, I told you about a magic formula. So we'll revise the magic formula here because we will require it right now. So I had told you that 1 mole of any substance is 6.023 into 10 raised to power 23 particles. Now these particles can be atoms, molecules, or ions or radicals, whatever. Now this is also equal to its molecular or atomic mass. So we can say it is also equal to relative molecular mass or relative formula mass or relative atomic mass, right? And this was also equal to molar volume, that is 24 decimeter cube. Right now in this chapter we make use of this for all our calculations, that 1 mole corresponds to the relative formula mass or relative atomic mass. It also corresponds to molar volume, right? So just remember this formula, we'll be using it all over in this chapter. So let's go ahead and learn the mathematical expression. So the volume of gas in decimeter cube at room temperature and pressure is related to the number of moles. Now let's see how it is related. Volume of gas at RTP, that is room temperature and pressure, is equal to number of moles into 24. So from here, if we want to find the number of moles, what we will do, we'll take this and divide it by 24. So number of moles can be given by volume of gas at room temperature and pressure upon 24. So this is how we will calculate volume of gas in decimeter cube. So this volume will be in decimeter cube. Okay. And we'll find the number of moles in this unit, right? So these are the two formulas that we will require. So please learn them, that volume of gas at STP or RTP is number of moles into 24 and number of moles is volume divided by 24. Now students, let us see how volume of a gas can be found out from its mass and relative formula mass. So if mass and relative formula mass are given, how we can find the volume? So we know this, that volume of the gas at RTP is number of moles into 24. Okay. So now if number of moles is not known to us, okay, if mass and relative formula mass is given, so we know number of moles is mass upon relative formula mass. Here we have substituted this with mass upon relative formula mass and is multiplied by 24. So the volume of gas at RTP from the given mass and the relative formula mass can be calculated by using this formula. So even if you don't remember these formulas, I'll tell you in the end how to use our magic formula for doing all the calculations. But right now you have to learn these formulas. Now let us go ahead and solve some sums. Calculate the volume of 0.2 mole of nitrogen gas at RTP, that is at normal room temperature pressure. So they have given us the number of moles. So we can use this formula. Volume of gas at RTP is number of moles into 24. So the volume of gas is, number of moles is given as 0.2 and this is 24. So 24 into 2 is 48. So this is 4.8 decimeter cube, because volume is given in decimeter cube, or we can also write as 4.8 liter. Let us go ahead and see the next question. Calculate the number of moles of carbon dioxide that occupy 6 decimeter cube at RTP. So now this time they have given the volume and they have told to find the number of moles. So we know volume of gas at RTP is number of moles into 24. So what you will do for finding the number of moles? Volume of gas at RTP divided by 24. So number of moles is volume of gas, which is 6, divided by 24. So the answer comes out to be 0.25 moles. Now a very important concept, reacting gas volume ratios of reactants or products by using Avogadro's law or Gay-Lussac's law. So first let us study what are these laws. So Gay-Lussac's law of volume states that gases combine with each other in simple proportions by volume. So they combine with each other in simple whole number ratio of volumes. For example, when we say nitrogen is reacting with hydrogen to form ammonia, so when we balance it, okay, we see that when we take some particular volume of nitrogen, that one volume, we write it in this way, one volume of nitrogen reacts with 3 volume of hydrogen to form 2 volumes of ammonia. So when these gases react, they combine with each other in simple proportions by volume. So we can say that they are combining in 1:3 ratio to give you 2. So that was Gay-Lussac's law. Now let us understand what is Avogadro's law. Avogadro's law states that equal volumes of gases at same temperature and pressure contains the same number of molecules or moles. We already know that from a balanced equation it gives molecules and moles both. And Avogadro's law is stating that equal volumes of gas at same temperature and pressure contain same number of molecules or moles. So if we take the same example again of N2 plus 3H2 giving you twice ammonia, if I say that volumes are in the ratio 1:3, okay, the combining ones, then we can also say that since it is 1 volume or it is 3 volume, So this also corresponds to same number of molecules, or we can say that this ratio of volume is same as the ratio of moles. So we can say 1 volume is to 3 volume is also equal to 1 mole is to 3 mole. Right? So Avogadro's law states that equal volumes of gas at the same temperature and pressure contains the same number of molecules or moles of gas. So we will use a combination of these two laws to arrive at the reacting gas volumes ratios. So this means the molecule ratio of the equation or the relative moles of the reactant and products automatically gives us what? The gas volume ratio. So if we have the stoichiometric ratio of the equation, it directly gives the gas volume ratio of reactants and products, provided, so there are conditions. What are the conditions? Provided all the gas volumes are measured at same temperature and pressure. So the measurement should be at same temperature and pressure, because you know, whenever there is a change in temperature or pressure of the gas, the volumes changes. So all these laws holds true only at this condition, that all the gas volumes are measured at the same temperature and pressure. Now one more very important thing, that these calculations only apply to gaseous reactants or products. So they apply to only gaseous reactants or products, and if they are all at the same temperature and pressure. So now let's talk about the reacting gas volumes ratio calculations. So suppose you are given this equation that HCl is reacting with ammonia to form ammonium chloride. Okay. So here you can see that what is the stoichiometric ratio? 1, 1 and 1. This is a balanced chemical equation and the stoichiometric ratio is 1:1:1. So you can say that 1 mole hydrogen chloride combines with 1 mole of ammonia gas to give 1 mole of ammonium chloride solid. Now, since from Avogadro's law, equal volume of gas at same temperature and pressure have the same number of molecules, and equal number of moles have the same number of molecules, so one and the same thing, and this give rise to Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes. And we can then logically say directly from the equation that one volume of hydrogen chloride will react with 1 volume of ammonia to form solid ammonium chloride. So wherever there is a solid, we will not consider any calculation, we will not do any gas calculations, we will talk only about the gases. Okay. Now let us see a question. What volume of HCl reacts with 250 centimeter cube of ammonia? So we know that the ratio is 1:1 here. Now they have given the volume of ammonia, which is 250 centimeter cube. And since the ratio of volumes is same, so 250 centimeter cube of ammonia will react with 250 centimeter cube of HCl. Okay. So this is how you will determine that what volume of the reactants will combine together to form what volume of the products. Let us solve some sums on this. So our question is, given the equation, what volume? They are asking the volume of hydrogen which reacts with 50 centimeter cube of nitrogen. So they have given the volume of nitrogen, and what volume of ammonia will be formed. So if you see this reaction, I am writing the reaction again. N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3. Okay. So what is the ratio? The stoichiometric ratio or the molar ratio according to Avogadro is 1:3:2. So according to Gay-Lussac law also, 1 volume of nitrogen is combining with 3 volume of hydrogen to form 2 volume of ammonia. Right. Now they have given the volume of nitrogen as 50 centimeter cube. So 50 centimeter cube corresponds to 1 volume. So 3 volume will correspond to 3 into 50. So it is 150 centimeter cube, right? Now again, one volume corresponds to 50 centimeter cube, so two volume will correspond to 2 into 50, which is 100 centimeter cube. So from this you can say that 50 centimeter cube of nitrogen reacts with 150 centimeter cube of hydrogen to form 100 centimeter cube of ammonia. Now let's go ahead. The next question is, carbon monoxide burns in air to form carbon dioxide according to the equation 2CO plus O2 gives 2CO2. So the question is, if carbon monoxide is produced in an industrial process at the rate of 50 decimeter cube per minute. So in 1 minute, what is the volume of carbon monoxide production? 50 decimeter cube. Okay. So 50 decimeter cube in 1 minute. What rate of oxygen input is required to completely burn it to harmless carbon dioxide? So they are asking the volume of oxygen so that this carbon monoxide reacts completely with this to form a non-poisonous or harmless carbon dioxide. Okay. So now they have given the volume of carbon monoxide and we have to find the volume of oxygen. So according to Gay-Lussac's law, first I will write the equation. 2 carbon monoxide plus oxygen gives 2 carbon dioxide. Okay. So according to Gay-Lussac's law, it is 2 volumes reacting with 1 volume. We don't have to bother about carbon dioxide because they have asked only this. So we will talk about only these two ratios. So 2 volumes is corresponding to 1 volume. So now since the value of this 2 volume is given as 50, okay, 50 decimeter cube. So it means 2 volume of carbon monoxide is 50 decimeter cube. It means 1 volume will correspond to 50 divided by 2, which will be 25 decimeter cube. So now we know what is 1 volume. 1 volume is 25 decimeter cube and here it is 1 volume. So it will be 25 decimeter cube. So we know now that for reaction of 50 decimeter cube carbon monoxide, 25 decimeter cube of oxygen is required. So I hope you understood this very well. Now the second part of the question. However, it is expensive to use oxygen. So using pure oxygen is expensive. So air is employed for the combustion process. If you assume that air contains approximately 20% oxygen, then what rate of air needs to be pumped into the reactor for the carbon monoxide combustion process? So now they are saying that pure oxygen is not used. Okay, we are using air which is containing 20% of oxygen. So let us see. So if we see what is 20%, okay, so in 100% air the oxygen content is 20%. Okay, so means in air 1/5 oxygen is there because this is 20 upon 100. 2 1s are 2, 2 5s are 10. So if we take the whole air, in it the 1/5 part is your oxygen. Okay, so if we multiply the amount that we obtained here with 5, okay, because now we will require 5 times the air. Earlier we had taken pure oxygen, but now we know that we have taken air as oxygen is expensive, and they have asked now how much air will be required. So air required will be 5 times now, because in that air the oxygen is only 1/5. So what we will do is, the answer that we had got for oxygen was 25 centimeter cube. So they had to pump 25 centimeter cube per minute. So this was the answer here, 25 centimeter cube per minute. Now since we are taking air, so what we will do, we will take 25 into 5, so which is 125 centimeter cube. So 125 centimeter cube of air has to be pumped per minute so that the carbon monoxide is completely reacted with oxygen to give carbon dioxide. So I hope you have understood this. So if air is composed of 20% oxygen, then 1/5 of air is oxygen. So you need 5 times more air than the pure oxygen. Therefore, the rate of air needed is 5 into 25, which is 125 decimeter cube of air per minute. I think I've made a mistake here. In the question it was decimeter cube, and everywhere I've used centimeter cube. So just for carbon monoxide, you remember it is 50 decimeter cube. For oxygen it is 25 decimeter cube per minute, and if we take air instead of pure oxygen, then it will be 125 decimeter cube per minute. Let's see our next question. So they have given the equation where this is propane. So when propane is reacting with oxygen, it is forming carbon dioxide and water. So what volume of oxygen is required to burn 25 centimeter cube of propane? Okay. So first question we will solve. What volume of oxygen is required? So if we see the reaction, they have asked what volume of oxygen is required to burn 25 centimeter cube of propane. So this is 25 centimeter cube and this is asked. So if we see the ratio, this is 1:5, means 1 volume of propane requires 5 volume of oxygen. Okay. So 25 centimeter cube, see, 1 volume of propane requires 5 volumes of oxygen. So now 1 volume is corresponding to 25 centimeter cube. So we can write, therefore 25 centimeter cube of propane will require how much? 5 into 25, which is 125 centimeter cube of oxygen. So this first question was very easy. Now let's look at the second question. The second question says that what volume of carbon dioxide is formed if 5 decimeter cube of propane is burned. So now they have asked about carbon dioxide and they have given about propane. So we will have to take this relationship. What is propane? 1. The ratio, the molar volume ratio we'll see of propane and carbon dioxide. So this is 1 and this is 3. And they have asked what volume of carbon dioxide is formed. Okay. So we know that from burning of 1 volume of C3H8, that is propane, how much volume of carbon dioxide is obtained? 3 volume. Okay. So now if propane is taken 5 decimeter cube, so if this is 5 decimeter cube, then this will be 3 into 5, that is 15 decimeter cube. So here the answer is 15 decimeter cube of carbon dioxide is formed if 5 decimeter cube of propane is burnt. Now let's look at the last question. What volume of air? Now they are asking about air and not oxygen. You have to be very careful. So air is 1/5 of oxygen. They have given that in air 1/5 oxygen is present. So what volume of air is required to burn propane at the rate of 2 decimeter cube per minute in a gas fire? So now we have to take this ratio. Okay. So now they have asked the volume of air required to burn propane at the rate of 2 decimeter cube per minute in a gas fire. So we know that 1 volume of propane, that is C3H8, requires how many volume of oxygen? Requires 5 volume of oxygen. Okay. So now they have taken how much? 2 decimeter cube per minute. So in 1 minute the volume taken is 2 decimeter cube. So 2 decimeter cube of propane will require how much oxygen? 5 into 2, which is 10 decimeter cube of oxygen. But now we have not taken oxygen, we have taken air, which contains only 1/5 of oxygen. So the air required the air required will be 5 times, because the oxygen and air is only 1/5 times. So the air required is 5 times of 10 decimeter cube. So we require how much air? We require 50 decimeter cube of air per minute, because in 50 decimeter cube how much oxygen will be there? 10, 1/5. So it will be 10, and from calculations we know that 10 decimeter cube of oxygen is required. So the amount of air required will be 5 times of it. I hope you have understood this very well. Now this question states that 2 hydrogen molecule is reacting with 1 oxygen molecule to form 2 molecules of water. So 40 decimeter cube of hydrogen at 25 degrees Celsius and 1 atmospheric pressure were burnt completely. Then they've asked 3 questions. What volume of pure oxygen is required? This is very easy. What volume of air is required? And what mass of water is formed? So here we need to find mass also. So let us do all the 3 questions one by one. Let's do the first question. If 40 decimeter cube of hydrogen, so the ratio is 2, 1, 2. So if they are saying 40 decimeter cube of hydrogen is used, what volume of pure oxygen is required? So we know that for 2 volumes of hydrogen, okay, what is the amount of oxygen required? The oxygen required is 1 volume. Okay. Now since they have taken 40 decimeter cube, so 2 volume is corresponding to 40 decimeter cube. Right. So 1 volume will correspond to 40 divided by 2. So it will correspond to 20 decimeter cube. So our first answer is, what volume of pure oxygen is required? So oxygen required is 20 decimeter cube. Okay. Now coming on to our next question, they have asked what volume of air is required if air is 20% oxygen. Now we know if air is 20% oxygen, then how much oxygen is there in air? 1/5. So what is the volume of air required? From our previous knowledge also, from our previous question we did this. So volume of air required will be 5 times. So it will be 5 times of what oxygen is required. So it will be 5 into 20, which will be 100 decimeter cube. Okay. So for the next one, air required is 100 centimeter cube. Now let's see our third question. What mass of water is formed? So we want to now find about water, and we know for hydrogen. So we will relate the masses. See, 2 moles of hydrogen is giving 2 moles of water. So if I relate the volumes, 2:2 means 1:1. So I can say that 1 mole of hydrogen is giving 1 mole of water, or 1 volume of hydrogen is required to produce 1 volume of water. Okay. So we know that volume of hydrogen was 40 decimeter cube. So water will be also 40 decimeter cube. So now we know the volume of water, and now we have to calculate the mass of water formed. Okay. Now from our magic formula we know that 24 decimeter cube, okay, corresponds to the relative formula mass. Now the relative formula mass of water is what? It is 18. See, water is H2O, hydrogen is 1, so 1 into 2, plus oxygen is 16. So this is 16 plus 2, which is 18. So we can say that 24 decimeter cube corresponds to 18 gram. Therefore your 40 decimeter cube, which is the volume that you have found. Okay, so 40 decimeter cube will correspond to 18 upon 24, 18 divided by 24 into 40, which gives 30 grams. Right, you cancel it with 2, it gives answer as 30 grams. So here we have used the knowledge of magic formula that the molar volume is equal to relative molecular mass of water. So if molar volume, that is 24 decimeter cube, is 18 gram, then 40 decimeter cube will be 18 upon 20, will be 18 divided by 24 into 40. If you don't want to use this, then you can directly use your formulas, but I think learning formulas is more cumbersome. But I'll tell you how to do it by using the formulas. See here, for the third question, first moles of water formed is calculated. So we know moles of water is volume at room temperature and pressure divided by 24. So we did 40 divided by 24 and got 1.666 moles. Okay. Then we know that mass is moles into formula mass. Okay. So we will calculate mass of water formed as moles. 1.66 was the number of moles and this is the formula mass 18. So we multiplied 1.666 into 18 to get 30 gram of water. So remembering the formulas and doing 2 to 3 calculations is more difficult than what I explained you earlier. So you can follow any of the methods. So please watch both these methods, try both these methods for all the type of sums and then you will be very confident at it. So now with the help of this question, we know how to calculate the volume of pure oxygen, then air, and then how to calculate the masses. So from this knowledge, we can calculate the mass of any of them, any of the reactants and the product if the volume of one of them is given. So this was all about volumes of gases. I hope you have understood the calculations very well. If you have not understood, please watch the video again to make your concepts very clear. And still if you don't understand something, please write in the comment box. I'll be ready to help you out. If you have liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and write in the comment box. And if you have not yet subscribed to Zenith Academy Online, please do it right away and don't forget to tap on the bell icon to receive all the videos for GCSE curriculum. If you have really liked our content, please share it with all of your friends and keep the learning on. Thank you and have a fabulous day.